Hi, I'm Michael Blazier with the Hill Farm Research Station. I also do extension programming for the LSU AgCenter statewide. My area of expertise is silviculture, and what we're talking to you about in this little video is eastern baccharis, what you might know as saltbush, and it can have a bit of a detrimental effect on wildlife habitat values because it comes in pretty aggressively on old fields, like what we're standing in here. This was planted in hardwood trees 6 years ago, but at the same time those hardwoods were planted, the baccharis decided it was a good place to set up shop. And what happens from a habitat quality standpoint is this stuff can get really dense, gets pretty tall. It's shading out a lot of the lower level of the ground here, so we're not getting a good diversity of vegetation that's coming in. So what a couple of us with the AgCenter are doing is a research and demonstration project where we're trying to find new ways of controlling this stuff while protecting the hardwoods that we've planted for long-term wildlife habitat value.
Hey, Luke Stamper here. Following up a little bit on what Dr. Blazier mentioned about this particular research site, we want to really talk about the capability of this particular species to become invasive. And what that does is some of the quality of our wildlife habitat specifically is decreased diversity. And that's one of the #1 things that we all try to implement as natural resource managers, is to diversify our particular property so that we become marketable to a whole slew of wildlife species. Mike, if you could come down here a little bit closer and take a look at some of this ground level here, we basically have just maybe 3 to 6 different species across this whole 30-acre piece of property here. Some are made up of sedges, some are made up of some different juncus species, but overall we're not seeing the particular diversity that we really want to create here. So what we're hoping to get out of this particular project is to release some of this mid-story competition, increase some of the sunlight value on the forest floor here, and hopefully get a response of some highly beneficial quality wildlife type species. Okay, now we're standing in one of our treatment plots here. This particular treatment is one that we actually physically sawed or cut the baccharis down. We have no basal bark application, there's no herbicides going on in this. The goal here is just to remove each stem in this particular plot. And you'll kind of notice behind me and all around how much we've actually opened it up by physically removing the baccharis. You can see the amount of sunlight that we're going to increase on this particular treatment plot here from doing so. And this is also known as the standard approach to removing any baccharis within a newly planted bottomland hardwood situation. Mike, if you'll come in and kind of zoom in a little bit closer, you'll see that we've already sawed this one down, and you can see the amount of resprout that we're getting back. And that's because of the lack of herbicide that was applied on this particular treatment.
So this is our alternative to coming in with brush saws and cutting the baccharis down and then spraying over that stump or not with basal spray herbicide. This treatment, we actually came out in January and we sprayed herbicide over this entire treatment area, and we did it at that time because at that time the hardwoods are dormant, so there's low risk that they'll take in the herbicide. The one we used was triclopyr, so it shouldn't get systemic at that time of year. But at that time the baccharis still has its leaves on it, so it had a surface area to grab the herbicide and be active at the same time the hardwoods did not. And what we're optimistic about seeing here is the fact that this baccharis is died out, and we're clearing all the greenery in here above waist level is the hardwoods we planted. So we've opened it up, we've got more sunlight coming in here. Hopefully this would be a lot less labor intensive than trying to send in a crew of people to do sawing. Should be a more affordable option too for folks that want to knock back this baccharis while accelerating the pace of the wildlife diversity of vegetation.